The first one I'd like to talk about today is a continuation from something Felix and I talked about on Monday's episode, which was the announced all hands, all generals meeting in Quantico, Virginia, in which the head of our armed forces, all the heads of our armed forces were summoned to basically receive a motivational lecture by the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. On Monday we were speculating about what was going to be the content of this meeting, what would be the tenor of his remarks, and I believe we settled on it would be something gayer than you could possibly imagine. And I'm here to report that indeed that was the case. Most of the comments in the meeting were basically about how you should dress and what kind of facial hair you can and can't have as a member of a U.S.
And he's
Army.
installing a makeup studio in the Pentagon.
Yes, he is doing that as well.
He's like, we need to get back to being men, but we also need to have, perfect eyebrows.
Contouring.
Yeah. We need perfect skin. If you wear a nice lip gloss, that's acceptable, but no lipstick because that's for chicks.
Did you see the how he had like a big laugh applause line, and it was
the fuck around and find out line?
Yeah. And 3 people in the entire audience went woo, yeah. And
those are clearly his aides. Those are his staffers.
They had pretty much every fucking officer in the military there. So there's at least 3 guys who would think that was cool. But I think that's worse than getting total silence.
Being summoned to that is like being told by your parents, oh, we are going to a 3-hour mass today. Fuck, dude. I do not want to be there. And then I already said it to Felix a lot, but it's the most coked up thing to make everyone listen to your ass talk and all come and listen to you. I just imagine it's 2 a.m. and you're in some guy's shitty apartment with his overhead lighting. He's just geeked out and he's like, we should start a band. Actually, we should start a band. We should start I kind of want to do something that's hyper speed metal, but also combined with I don't know, just electronic shit or something like that. I don't know. I've had this idea and I got a bunch of names. You're just Jesus fucking Christ. And you're there only because your friend is there and he's your ride and you can't fucking escape. That's what that is.
Yeah. We were saying that it's when someone brings a party to a screeching halt. Everyone is enjoying themselves in their own quadrant of the room. And then just the Pete Hegseth of the get together is everyone stop. I need to talk about how I've been friends with this guy for 3 whole years.
It's the same in the other direction. It'd be if someone would be let's all go around and talk about our trauma. And you're no. It's completely kills the vibe.
Let's all play our favorite YouTube videos. I'm going to choose 12 of them to start. Just get the ball rolling. But everyone stop talking and watch this YouTube video on the TV. I'm Chromecasting it to the TV right now. And you've been a general for a long time. You're the fucking Joint Chiefs, Joint Commander in Chiefs. What if we opened a restaurant? What if there's a restaurant in the Pentagon? What if we made the Pentagon a giant restaurant, sort of a bistro, sort of like a gastropub or a bistro? I don't know what a gastropub is, but I think we should have one in the Pentagon. I think you guys should fucking run it because I think you're so fucking good at running the Army. I think you should just be like Anthony Bourdain. Remember that guy? Remember his show? He was so fucking good, man. He was so fucking real. It's because kind of like what we do. We travel over the world. We learn about other cultures and we fucking take their food and we fucking kill them. So let's just do a restaurant based on all the people we've killed.
We should all get fucking tattoos, matching tattoos together. Pete Hegseth is busting out. I got this new card game. It's called Birds and Bees, and it's a little naughty. Where he's making all his friends kiss each other and shit. Ugh.
Well, some of the news coverage of this. It says here, Pete Hegseth's comments. He said here, the era of politically correct, overly sensitive, don't hurt anyone's feelings leadership ends right now. Hegseth said at the gathering at a Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. Hegseth called for no more division, distraction, or gender delusions in an extraordinarily blunt speech on the importance of the warrior ethos, a term he used to describe the spirit that makes combat units effective. We must be prepared, he said. Either we're ready to win or we are not.
Wait, I know what he meant by gender delusion, but the way he put it, it sounds like he's saying okay, today you have to. I don't care what you were assigned at birth. you're picking it today. And you're going to have that until after you retire from the military. I don't care, but we're doing it. Same rules as Iran.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We learned a lot.
Please report after the prepared remarks to receive your assigned gender from Secretary of War Hegseth.
Yeah.
My favorite moment, though, is that he said he demanded no more, quote, fat generals, saying all service members would need to meet fitness tests and grooming standards. Now, when I heard about his comments about fat generals, I just thought, like, I'm just imagining a scene where, like, okay, they're all there. They've all filed into the big auditorium. They're sitting down to listen to the Secretary of Defense. They're kind of excited. He comes out. He's like, yeah, we're no more of this woke bullshit. We're going back to be a fighting kill force full of strong army men. And they're like, yeah, all right. And then he's like, and another thing, I'm sick of all these fucking fatties. Every time I come around, I see these fat fucking generals. Just camera pans over. They're all stony faced. And there's just one general there with like a big bucket of buttered popcorn or like milk duds. Just, what? Is he talking about me?
All of our commanders will have a regimen, including retinol for their skin. All commanders will have cum gutters by the end of the year.
No, I love like his comments on. Okay, he also said he demanded no more fat generals, saying all service members would need to meet fitness tests and grooming standards. No more beardos, he said. The era of unacceptable appearance is over. I like to imagine that, like, in addition to stringent standards on facial hair, he's also instituting strict standards on pubic hair. You gotta shave it high and tight down there.
A tasteful landing strip is acceptable. Also,
we don't want any Brazilians.
Also, what the fuck is he talking about? Maybe I might be off on this, but since when is like any of the branches able to like have like a beard unless you're special forces, like he said?
And he said the special forces guy can still have beards. He made
but like
about that.
they've only like you've only ever been able to have like a mustache, right? Otherwise, you have to be like clean shaven.
We talked about it last episode, but there's a Zumwalt era reform that was put in place during the 70s, like as it pertains to like black servicemen, because that razor bump thing that affects like 70 or 80% of black men, I think. And they get an exemption where they can have like very like short, like well-kempt facial hair, but it's just to avoid them getting like a very...
They get to have beards and we don't. This sucks.
I mean, yeah, that's like, he basically did come out and say that. That was like one of the first things he did was suspend that reform that's been in effect for like 50 fucking years.
And it's like the only people that can have them outside of special forces, like we said. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
And it's not like a woke thing. It's just like that. It's to like make it so that they don't have a skin condition that like causes them to get booted out of the Navy or whatever.
Ingrown hairs that fucking suck.
Yeah.
Also, like all the guys that have like veterans all have beards because they get out and like, I don't want to shave anymore, and they also want to look like special forces. Those are the guys with beards. They're not even service members. Like that freak that just crashed into a Mormon church in Michigan and shot it up. That's who has the beards. And he was a Marine.
Yeah, he says, simply put, if you do not meet the male level of physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession. He said he is also overhauling the DoD's Inspector General's office that is investigating him for creating a culture of walking on eggshells that he said has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. I don't think I'm too far out ahead on this, that all of his comments about how they're going to investigate complaints and how they don't want any more complainers and all this stuff about walking on eggshells, given who's saying it. I think this is basically about just making it okay to rape women in the military.
Yeah. As if it wasn't already easy enough.
Yeah, I mean, they've been really strict about that. They've been holding back and not letting anyone sexually assault each other.
Yeah. I mean, this does also come on the heels of like how, I forget, was it in Forbes or, well, I don't know what it was in, but it was a report about how he's like, everyone thinks that he's like manic now.
Yeah.
Because he's completely paranoid. That entire like signal chat thing.
Right.
Just destroyed
that his wife was on.
Yeah, it destroyed like any bit of confidence that he had left. And so he's just showing up like bleary-eyed and screaming at people.
Well, I like that all of his comments are about like new stringent standards for facial hair and physical fitness. But we're going to keep an open mind about signals intelligence and who's allowed in the group chat if you are a 5-star general or the head of the Department of War.
That was a great way to start out his career in the cabinet. But also, all those generals, the way military people are, they love to talk shit on each other's branches.
Oh, yeah.
But they all came together and they have to listen to this fucking National Guard tell them what it's like to be in the military, or like what is the top standard. And they're like, God, shut the fuck up. You are not even fucking in the military, basically. Like, how they are. They're they all fucking hate them.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. That's what we said. Like having a National Guard guy like get you all together to call you fat is like. I mean, and guys who were in the Imperial Russian Army for like their entire lives, they pledged their lives to fucking Lenin for way less.
It's like having someone that played varsity talking to like an NFL player being like, this is what you need to do. I would have gone pro if it wasn't for my knee.
It says here, Trump spoke to the generals too, and I really enjoyed Trump's comments. He said Trump followed. This is from the article I was reading. It says Trump followed Hegseth with his own speech, saying that as president he would have their backs and that he is committed to making the military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. The president argued the military's job is not only to protect the U.S. from threats abroad, but also what he repeatedly referred to as a domestic enemy in American cities. I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military National Guard, said Trump, who claimed we're under invasion from within. Boy, that sounds ominous. that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, just file that into us, America and Israel becoming the same thing over time.
That's the other thing too, though. Even these National Guard guys, whenever they deploy them to like protest and stuff, those guys are like, I don't fucking want to be here. Like they don't give a fuck. And now they're like walking around the loop, like kicking around a can, going like, "Man, this sucks."
Another thing that I think is funny about his comments about no more fatties in the general. It's like basically like these standards that he's implementing for high level military officers is like Grinder. No fatties, no one uncut, no one under 9 inches.
And no loads refused.
No, yeah, definitely. We're done with this culture of refusing loads in the military. That's what you joined up for. You're taking them loads, boy.
Also, like him being like bringing back. They're gonna like lower the like standards against hazing. So, and like what drill sergeants can do, and it's like, yeah, if you don't let your drill sergeant crack you open, then you are not a fucking soldier, sir. The Spartans.
Hey, they were the greatest warriors of all time, and like they didn't do it. They didn't do it by being gentle with one another.
Yeah, in 10 years, Russians are gonna post like the chain video and be like, this is what they do in basic training for Marines. We'll never beat them because we're too woke to put an entire chain into a guy's asshole.
That the new military standard is going to be like that video from like 8 years ago of those British guys beating each other with the chair and then kissing. That's going to be the U.S. military.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking of this like in terms of like the history of the American military and like how that lines up with this new no fatties, no uggos, no uncut players standard that Hegseth is seeking to achieve. And then when I think about like some of the most decorated, some of the most valorous, some of the most famous U.S. military leaders and generals, like half of them were little butterballs. Like look up what Curtis LeMay looked like. And we all know the famous photo of Eisenhower, the guy who led Operation Overlord. Okay, he didn't have any facial hair, but he was looking a little zesty. I think we all know what I'm talking about. But like, go back to the Civil War. Like, none of those guys were in shape. they were all fucking.
They all
had beards. They all had beards.
That's like a little different, though. Like that's
yeah, but if you go back to when we had the Revolutionary War, everyone was wearing tights and wore wigs and powdered their face. So the Civil War guys, they lost their fucking way too due to woke, which is
the Civil War was fought over woke for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, the unwoke guys were the rebels who also had beards and were fat. Also, what is this like? Our standards, like your top guys get their jobs done, the most evil acts on earth that you want them to do, and they're like nodding off on heroin. Like special forces are all insane substance users and not in the best shape all the time too. You know?
You guys remember General Stormin Norman Schwarzkopf from the first Gulf War? He was built like
he's one of my heroes.
He was kind of a fatty.
I have his rookie card from those Desert Storm cards.
Yeah, those Desert Storm cards were awesome. But or another good example, Douglas MacArthur. Douglas MacArthur was one of those guys whose mom dressed him as a girl until he was like 7. And,
yeah. I mean, that used to be the thing. Like, if you were like a Tobey Maguire type, you know, just sort of like an evil pussy getter, you got into musical theater. But if you were sort of fruity, you became a story general. Frederick the Great, same thing. There's never been a guy like this since him. Like if there has been, I haven't heard of him. He would, like, if he saw a woman, he would like start throwing up.
FDR, when he was a child, looked like Griffith from Berserk. Looked like he looked like a they them. All those guys back then, they were born they thems.
I think you were like in the Victorian era, or like actually until pretty recently. For a lot of men, you were a they them until about your 7th or 8th birthday. It was basically like your mom had the right to make you a girl until you passed a certain age. One of my favorite facts about the career of Douglas MacArthur is that when he went to West Point, his mom moved to West Point and got a house right outside of West Point. And every day at West Point, he met her for lunch. He had lunch with his mom every single day at West Point. But Trump had some comments about sort of like harkening back to like the good old days of the U.S. military and Navy. In addition to his comments about how we're fighting a war on cities like San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles, and quote, we're going to straighten them out one by one, and that's going to be a major part of some of the people in this room. That's war too. It's a war from within. We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military. Then he said, quote, I think we should maybe start thinking about battleships, by the way, he said. I don't think it's old technology when you look at those guns, but it's something we're actually considering, the concept of battleships. Nice 6-inch side, solid steel, not aluminum. Trump then expressed his fandom of a television documentary from the 1950s. I used to watch Victory at Sea. I love Victory at Sea.
I love the idea that we make aluminum battleships because of fucking Biden.
Yeah, I think we should go back to wooden battleships.
He was talking about, I mean, I think the Zumwalt class destroyers, like the new stealth battleships, that admittedly do look really fucking ugly. This is actually kind of an instance of like him being right, but for the wrong reasons. Those ships are like kind of shitty. Like their radar cross section like isn't as good as they thought it would be. So he may like inadvertently get rid of another boondoggle just because it's like gross looking.
But like aren't like isn't the concept of a battleship sort of like something of a era of warfare that like doesn't exist anymore, like back when like navies would fight each other in open oceans, you know, like the Battle of Midway or something? Like I think the Navy, like they just need like an aircraft carriers. That's basically it.
Yeah, you go out to sea to like distribute your fighter jets and bombers.
Yeah, but like I mean, you like some aircraft carriers like you probably don't want to just have them completely undefended, even if you do have like vertical missile launchers and shit.
They're there for show, you know. It was so cool how we kept having planes slide off the aircraft carrier. Like, oh, we lost another one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Felix is like calling them like, yo, if I retrieve it, can I have it? You pay someone with like a tugboat to go out and get it.
Just go to the Red
I'm
Sea.
getting that jet.
You know, the Red Sea is not even that deep. You know, you could Felix. We could let's hire a salvage crew.
It's first come, first serve.
Let's hire this is legitimate salvage. If we can like sort of raise an F-16 from the bottom of the Red Sea. And then you could have like a sort of a refurbished fighter jet.
It's like it doesn't fly.
Certified pre-owned.
They would be calling me the white American pickers.
It doesn't drive. It doesn't fly. But he can sit in it and have fun and go zoom zoom.
Well, I could just repurpose I could make that my new like DCS station.
You're like, this is my bedroom now. Just sleeping there.
Going on in the article, it says here, Trump also repeatedly discussed nuclear weapons during the speech. I rebuilt our nuclear, he said. I moved a submarine or two. I won't say about the two over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful because we can't let people throw around that word. He continued, I call it the N-word. There are two N-words and you can't use either of them, which I gotta say is a pretty funny line. I call nuclear the N-word, and it's the other N-word you can't use. Say nuclear 2 times. Say it 2 times.
Fuck MAGA. I will say them if I want to say them. I won't let this tyrant hold me down. I will use both words.
This is going on. This is from The Intercept, by the way. And it is funny that, like, a sign of how well the speech went over is that, like, half of these guys just leaked to The Intercept about how embarrassed they were. Having to listen to this shit. But it says here, Hegseth, stalking back and forth across the dais during his address, invoked Jesus' golden rule to do unto others while threatening that those who challenge the United States will be, quote, crushed with violence. Hegseth continued, in other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O, Hegseth said, using an abbreviation for fuck around and find out. He revealed that he had just sent an email to the assembled leaders containing 10 new Department of War directives. They were written for you, said Hegseth. These directives are designed to take the monkey off of your back. The thing I'll note here is that he says he invokes Jesus' golden rule to do unto others. But I think he is omitting the probably much more important second part of that golden rule, which is not just to do unto others, but in fact do unto them as you would have them do unto you. So I mean, like I think he's created this moral universe in which Jesus' golden rule of morality is fuck around and find out. if Jesus says, if others do unto you, crush them with unrelenting violence.
I love that because it's also like no one knew what revenge is until Jesus came around. Like until the time, like 3 years before Jesus was crucified. It was just like someone does something to you and you just die. You just take it. When he came up with the golden rule, that's when people were like, "Oh, if someone kills my family, I should kill theirs."
No, but in their case, Jesus came back after 3 days and he doxed the Romans and got them all fired from their jobs.
I mean, like, once again, I mean, I talked about this on Monday, but imagine you're like a career officer in the U.S. military. Like, you've served for the last 30 years. Like, you know, you joined in Vietnam and now you're a fucking, like, an admiral or a general. And then you have this coked out lunatic talking about, like, basically using, like, Gen Z slang and TikTok. He's like, to all our war fighters out there, we're going to kill our enemies, and then we're going to dab and hit the gritty on them. If you don't know what the gritty is, look it up. And if you don't want to look it up, you're fired. To all you fatties, if you can't hit the gritty before leaving here today, then find a new line of work, buddy.
The veterans in our country aren't being taken care of, and many of them are ending up committing suicide.
Many of our veterans are coming home and unaliving people at Mormon churches all over the country. Boy, that's a story that dropped out of the news really quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, well, even the Kirk thing now, like, you're just seeing the most insane AI memes being made by, like, groypers. And people just are like, what are you going to do? Let's just podcast about it.
I don't know. Like, I mean, who knows why he did this? But like, it does seem like it's a retaliation against Mormons for the guy who killed Charlie Kirk, allegedly.
Oh yeah, well, they also want to address the fucking epidemic of big old women smashing glass bridges with boulders. I was literally going to go to the Rocky National Park the other day to see my favorite glass bridge, and it was closed down because this woman smashed a boulder through it. And people say that there was a kid that died. People say the dog saved the kid, but that was AI. That video is fake.
Wait, what?
But the stories are real. The stories are real, but the videos are fake.
The video is just an approximate, because
the recreation.
You're right. No one was there to film it at the time. And the AI video is a faithful recreation of the large stone fat woman glass bridge incident in which a golden retriever saved a small child's life. And that golden retriever is now head of the U.S. Marines. Semper Fi, doggy.
It's so dangerous too because you could impose security all around these parks, but they're going to get in and there's boulders everywhere. So it's not like they're sneaking them in. They're just getting them while they're there. So I think like we need to maybe have like sort of a boulder removal federal team. Like maybe have the National Guard come in and remove boulders from the Rocky
There
Mountains.
are way too many rocks in
other
America's national parks. They're dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
They're lying there. They're wreaking all kinds of havoc. People are tripping over them, and now big fatzos are using them to smash glass bridges and kill dozens of people.
Even places like Italy and like Switzerland, they have like snipers. If they see a big old woman heading towards a glass bridge and they think she might go for a rock, they will snipe them. I'm like, why isn't America doing that?
Well, because our war fighters have been, had their hands tied by red tape and bureaucracy. If you're a giant fatso in the national park and you're thinking of doing this, I got 4 letters for you. FAFO.
Lock them up.
And indeed, in the background of all this, Andrew, as you rightly pointed out at the beginning of the episode, Hegseth did order a new makeup studio to be installed at the Pentagon, right by the briefing room. And says your changes and upgrades to the Pentagon briefing room are nothing new and routinely happen during changes in an administration, a Defense Department spokesperson said in a statement to CBS News.
Cadet, where is your microblade? Look at me, son. That contour is shit. Go back.
Like Arlie Ermy screaming at you about your skincare regimen. I bet you're the type of faggot that would put hand lotion on your face.